From a couple of guys that used black permanent markers to disguise themselves instead of baklavas, to another man who tried escaping the scene of a robbery on a donkey. We take a look through 10 of the dumbest criminals ever. Number 10. Peter Addison. You must be wondering who leaves their name on the scene of a crime. Well, Peter Addison did just that after breaking into the TOCH Center in Cheshire in 2007. It wasn't long before the cops caught up with him and his accomplice. Number 9. Matthew McNelly and Joey Miller. Usually, burglars simply go for tights or baklavas as a form of disguise. Well, Matthew McNelly and Joey Miller decided to do something a little different by going for fashionable permanent markers, which they used to disguise their faces. Creative, huh? Well, it certainly helped the cops recognize them. Number 8. Daniel Glenn. In 2008, an Ontario criminal, in a bid to be extra cautious and avoid futility, decided to call the convenience store ahead of time to make sure that there was enough cash in the register before arriving to carry out the robbery. Well, Daniel got his answer when the cops intercepted him on his way to the store. Number 7. Mark Smith. Whenever you're gonna go steal a cat, make sure you're not sleep-deprived or high on something. Otherwise, you'd end up like burglar Mark Smith, who fell asleep under his victim's bed. Dosed up on Valium and vodka, Mark fell asleep in the middle of robbing a house in Whitley Bay. Number 6. Klaus Schmidt. In August of 1995, Klaus Schmidt tried to rob a bank in Berlin by walking in with a pistol and demanding money. Pretty usual stuff, right? Except the bank employees noticed that something was weird about his actions. Their suspicions were proven right when one of them asked Schmidt if he needed a bag, and the robber replied, "You're damn right it's a real gun." At this response, they realized that Schmidt was deaf. One employee set off the alarm, and as loud as it was, Schmidt was oblivious to it. Right until the moment the police arrived and were right behind him. He had no idea as he kept his cool while giving orders. When he was taken into custody, he tried to sue the bank for exploiting his disability. But his case was never heard. Number 5. Gas station theft. 2 robbers raided a gas station in Vancouver in September of 1981. They tied up the gas station attendant and got out of there with the loot in the car. While on the run, they got lost and stopped at a gas station to ask for directions. What they failed to recognize was that it was the same gas station that they had just robbed. This time around, the gas station attendant left them in custody of the cops. Number 4. Getaway donkey. Tip number 1 for a successful robbery: get a fast getaway car. A gang of thieves from Colombia stole Xavi, a 10-year-old donkey, and went ahead and robbed a convenience store, stealing food and rum. They loaded their merchandise onto the donkey and got ready to escape. Unfortunately, Xavi was not cooperative, and he began to make a lot of noise that attracted the attention of some nearby cops. The robbers fled without Xavi. Number 3. Michael Anthony Fuller. The highest denomination of the US dollar is the $100 bill. However, 53-year-old Michael Anthony Fuller walked into Walmart with a $1 million bill and tried to use it to buy a microwave and a vacuum cleaner, expecting the change of $999,524. Well, you can guess what happened next. Number 2. Stuttgart. Stuttgart, a 37-year-old man, called and demanded a ransom amount of 100,000 euros from a car dealership. The extorted company summed up the letter as a bad joke because the crook left his bank account and telephone number on the ransom note in case they had questions. The phone number led them to discover that Stuttgart was a former customer of the car dealership. He was arrested almost immediately. And number 1. The worst burglar ever. In Fort Myers Beach, Florida, amateur criminal Christopher Cron tried to rob a restaurant after closing one night. However, he made several mistakes. He tripped the alarm when he broke in. He failed to flee after the alarm started ringing. He answered the phone when ADT called the restaurant after being notified of the alarm. He gave the ADT employee his real name. When he finally decided to leave, all he took was a bottle of Grand Marnier and a beer. After getting away with the crime, he returned to the restaurant the next day and was recognized by an employee. Cron was arrested on the spot.